This episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast is brought to you by my friend in beauty, Zaire S. Zaire is a Washington, D.C. makeup artist whose intentional artistry accentuates your unique features so you can show up confidently wherever life takes you. Zaire has been a student of makeup for over 10 years, leading her to opportunities to work at MAC, photo shoots, fashion shows, and even TV sets. She believes that makeup is an expression of your personal style and should be used as an enhancement, letting your face be her guide. Zaire is able to use her knowledge of makeup techniques to create a look that is custom to you. When you book with Zaire, you'll receive professional service and flawless makeup application created with high quality products. She also travels to you so you can receive your relaxing experience in the comfort of your own home. So book your appointment today at zairesmakeup.com. I'll leave it down below, and make sure you follow her on Instagram and TikTok at Zaire's Makeup. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the episode.
I always knew I wanted to start my own brand, but I felt like the beauty industry as a whole was just so saturated with brands. And I was like, what really needs to exist and what's different and what do I really feel passionate about? And so because moms would always ask me, like, what's a good brand for my daughter? I really didn't know. I was like, honestly, I don't have an answer. So I felt like it was a great white space. It was like this untapped market where I felt like there really was this need for younger consumers to have products made just for them that were, proven safe, where the applicators were slightly smaller, which we call like petite size applicators, because their features are smaller. So again, it goes back to that bicycle analogy. Like, why would you give your child like a big mascara wand when their eyes slightly smaller, or their lips are smaller, or their hands are smaller to apply it? So that's why everything is really custom and made for them.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get authentic answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. Join me every week as me and my special guest reveal the keys to longevity and success in the beauty industry, from the ups and downs of their journey to the nitty-gritty of their struggles and triumphs. We're spilling the tea on it all, and most importantly, having fun while doing it. You ready? Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you because you are the founder of Petite and Pretty, which is a leading beauty brand focused on giving teens high quality products and sparking creativity. And then also you have 15 years of experience developing prestige beauty products. And I'm really excited to talk to you because when it comes to that side of the business, that's not something that's talked about a lot.
Yeah.
So we're really going to get into it today.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Yes, me too. Before we hop into it, we're going to start off with some icebreakers just to get us warmed up, and so the Friends in Beauty audience can get to know you outside of what you do for your brand.
Okay.
So first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
I have a Pomeranian named Capone. I was born in Washington, D.C. And one more, let me think. I have a daughter, and her last name's Green, like the color, but she's in denial that her name is Gia Green. So she goes by Gia Pink, and we have a lip gloss named Gia Pink after her. So random.
That is so cute. I love it. Like, I'm Gia Pink, not Green.
Yeah, exactly. She is Gia Pink. She's not Gia Green.
Oh my God. How old is she?
She's 8.
I love that. Like, I feel like that could be like a stage name too, Gia Pink. Like,
totally. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite music artist right now?
I like Ice Spice. I like, who else? Drake. I'm really into like hip hop, kind of. That's more my thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
I love it. What do people always tell you that you're good at aside from what you do professionally?
I'd say that I'm a good friend. Like my husband says I care more about my friends than I care about him, but I really do. Like, I go out of my way to make sure that my friends, feel special in my life. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know about you, making your friends more of a priority or making them feel more special than your husband,
yeah,
but he's probably exaggerating.
yeah, he is. And also I'm a good mom. I'd say I'm a good mom too.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. When is the last time that you did something for the first time? Any new experiences?
Um, I'd say I mean, I always do new things. I mean, obviously legal, all legal, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of, let me think of the last time I did something new. I don't know, honestly.
Gotta get out more.
Yeah, maybe like trying, I'm really trying to perfect how to make a pie. So, I've been trying to do that. That's something new.
Okay.
But I don't know, different. I like to cook, so different kind of things. Like I'll try to cook different things. So
Okay. Trying out new recipes, perfect.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. And the last one, if you weren't the founder of Petite and Pretty, is there anything else you could see yourself doing right now?
Um, Honestly, I love obviously working in beauty, but I also love. I think working with kids has made me realize, like, if I weren't working in beauty, I'd probably want to do something in education or be
Mhm.
like a teacher or something like that. Because I feel like it is really rewarding.
Yeah, I had that feeling the other day. I went to my niece's fifth grade graduation,
Mm,
and just seeing her interaction with her teachers and just the impact that they have on the children's lives. I
yeah.
really considered it. I'm like, maybe I should be like working with kids in some kind of way. But then I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And honestly, like having my brand, which will go more into detail, but like how much you can impact a child's life in such a positive way, I think is so incredible. And also having kids and seeing how when they do have that special teacher, like how much it makes their year or gives them just like, confidence and just like a sense of like belonging. And it just really changes, I think, the way they feel about themselves, which has been really cool to watch. So
Absolutely, and you get to do that with your brand in a
I
different
do.
way.
I do.
I love that. So, who is Sam? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So my name's Sam Cutler. I have worked my whole career in beauty. I started in college at the makeup counter working for MAC, and then as a makeup artist. And then when I graduated, I worked in product development for MAC in New York. So I worked there for 5 years, and then I moved back to Los Angeles and I worked for Stila. And then I went from Stila to Smashbox, and then I went back to Stila. So I've been working in prestige color cosmetics for over like 17 years.
Yeah.
Um, and then I always wanted to start a brand, and moms would always ask me, what's a good brand for my daughter? She's getting into makeup. I really don't know what's appropriate, what I should get for her. And I was always like that person that worked in beauty. So I was always like the go-to, right? Like, oh, she'll know. And I honestly never knew, because either the products were quality products I would never give my daughter, where I was like, the quality of the products is not something I really trust, or
Mhm.
it wasn't age appropriate. Like it looked really fun and skewed young, but it just wasn't age appropriate, whether there were anti-aging, raw materials in the product, or it was like full pigment load. And what I like to say is, like, if you have a daughter or son that's going to ride a bike for the first time, you're not going to give them a mountain bike. You're going to give them something with training wheels that's truly age appropriate, that's going to give them confidence. And that's really what we are in this beauty journey. Like, we're that first place for your child to have the best first experience in beauty, and we want to be part of that beauty journey as long as we can. And then then they'll obviously like grow and maybe try other products out, but we're here to really give them that best first experience.
Yes, the
Um,
foundation.
yeah, I'm also a mom. I have my daughter Gia, who's 8, and then I have a son, Shia, who's 12.
Uh-huh.
Um, that tween age, which is really fun.
And interesting,
Yeah, it's
challenging
interesting.
sometimes.
Yes, yes, totally. But yeah, it's fun. So that's like me in a nutshell. And I have a husband named Josh.
And
He's
my
from
husband,
Miami.
I love that. So you were a makeup artist. What was your relationship with beauty growing up that led you to want to pursue makeup?
Yeah, so I was always like that girl that was doing their friends' makeup for like the middle school dance, or when friends would come over, we would always do our makeup. And my mom would always take me to like the counter at Clinique or Mac or whatever when I was younger. And my grandma, I still have like the brushes she gave me when I turned 13. The it's all like chipped and stuff, but I've loved beauty and makeup my whole life, like ever since I can remember.
Mhm.
Um, and so, that's always been like a passion of mine. Yeah.
Good
So,
for you.
so I always knew I wanted to get into makeup when I was older, but I didn't know exactly what. So I went to college, I studied marketing, but while I was in college, I did work at the Mac counter, um, which was a great experience because I feel like it really gave me insight into what women know about products, or what you might think they know and they really have no idea. Like there
Mhm.
were women that were 65 that never used a moisturizer in their life, and you're like, it just, I mean, this was 20 years ago, so I think people are more educated now, but it was just, I was like, what do you mean? Like, so it was really interesting. So it gave me like that really great consumer insight, especially going into product development, because you assume, okay, like everyone knows what a primer is, or everyone knows what a highlighter is. And the reality is they don't.
Mhm.
Um, so it really like helped me understand that from early on in my career.
Absolutely. So the age that you started playing around with makeup is about the age that the girls are now that you cater towards with petite and pretty.
Yeah, so I'd say I really started playing with makeup when I was like, I don't know, 6, 7, where I was just like putting on red lipstick and at home having fun. And then where I really would wear makeup, I'd say I was like in 7th, 8th grade, and I had to wear uniforms to school. So it was a way for me to really be creative and be individual. So I would wear like a little bit of, I used to wear this eyeshadow called Chill, which is this like white frosted eyeshadow. So I'd wear that and a little bit of mascara. I'd wear brow gel or clear mascara, lip gloss, really those entry level products I'd wear uh,
Mhm.
early on. And then as I got a little bit older, I obviously experimented more with eyeliner and um, blush and foundation and all that kind of stuff. So
Did your parents care at all if it looked crazy? Because I have a niece, she's 8 years old, and she puts
uh-huh.
on pink lipstick sometimes. I'm like, girl, what is going on? But she loves
Yeah,
her lipstick.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, my parents, I always was like, what I like did what I wanted in terms of like wearing makeup and my nails. I used to get like long acrylic nails. My mom did not like those nails.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, my parents were pretty lenient, and I mean, I wasn't really young wearing crazy makeup, but I did definitely like get more creative as I got older in terms of wearing like vibrant colors and really being able to experiment with product. But I do remember when I was really little, like 6 or 7, I used to go into this town in LA, and I used to buy these like Q-tip. Do you remember those Q-tip lipsticks? They were like, they look like Q-tips and there was like lipstick on the edge. So I would get those in bright colors and I would wear those, but I wouldn't wear them out in public. And I think, it's really interesting. I noticed that a lot with our brand. Like we work with a lot of young creators, like a lot of these young influencers, and they will do full on really creative looks for like their Instagram account or TikTok or whatever, but they don't wear it out in public.
Got you.
So they do it to be creative, and then when they go out in public, they'll wear like brow gel, clear mascara, black mascara, a little blush,
Yeah.
some gloss, and they look age appropriate. So I've definitely seen that.
Okay. Okay. So after working with Mac, Stila, Smashbox, these are like really like big brands, like really huge brands when it comes to being a makeup artist and everything. What was it that ultimately led you to say, I want to do something different and create a product or a brand that caters towards teens and not like older women, I guess. Or
Yeah. Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, like moms would always ask because I would always worked in product development. So I was always working on new products for these brands. And then I always knew I wanted to start my own brand, but I felt like the beauty industry and as a whole was just so saturated with brands. And I was like, what really needs to exist and what's different and what do I really feel passionate about?
Yeah.
And so because moms would always ask me like, what's a good brand for my daughter, I really didn't know. I was like, honestly, I don't have an answer. So I felt like it was a great white space. Um, it was like this untapped market where I felt like there really was this need for younger consumers to have products made just for them that were, proven safe, where the applicators were slightly smaller, which we call like petite size applicators, because their features are smaller. So again, it goes back to that bicycle analogy. Like, why would you give your child like a big mascara wand when their eyes slightly smaller or their lips are smaller or their hands are smaller to apply it? So um, that's why everything is really custom and made for them.
I love that. So is that where the name petite and pretty comes from? Because it's
Yeah, so the name Petite, so it was really funny when I was trying to come up with the name of the brand. I'd ask my daughter, and like, what does this word mean to you? Or what does that word mean to you? And she didn't know a lot of the words, but she knew what pretty meant.
Mhm.
And I feel like pretty is such a powerful word because it's really truly, I feel like it's a feeling from within. And you can be, 3 years old, or you could be 103. And you putting on gloss or putting a little mascara on, it's not really like physically looking better, but you feel better about yourself. And it's about feeling pretty and feeling confident. And I think that's ultimately like what makeup does. It makes people feel better about themselves.
Mhm.
And petite is just like smaller humans with big imaginations, and it's not about like physical size, but it's about, tweens, teens, kids being slightly smaller. And then all of our applicators are smaller too. So we custom tooled applicators that are petite so they can apply them better. And so it's a easy, better like first experience with products.
That is so much fun. And I absolutely love the way that the brand looks too. It's giving me like not quite Lisa Frank, but in my generation, we had like Lisa Frank, and then I remember going to like Bath and Body Works when I was
Yeah.
young. They had like a special collection. They don't have it anymore, but they had like a special collection in Bath and Body Works at the time that was like catered or marketed towards children that had like the fun colors and like makeup and like body stuff. So it's giving me like nostalgia a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're based in Beverly Hills. So Beverly Hills is the inspiration behind a lot of our creative.
Mhm.
So a lot of it's like palm trees, hot pink, white, green. And we really built the brand to feel aspirational. So it doesn't feel like kids makeup, it feels real, and it is real makeup, and it could live in Ulta, it can live in Sephora, it can live with other prestige beauty brands because it is.
Yeah.
And it's not like toy makeup.
I definitely had the toy makeup with the little tiny little sponge
Fun.
applicators and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So when you initially launched, what products did you launch with? And then how did you determine what products you wanted to start off with and then expand from there?
Yeah, so the first products we launched were a palette, and it's like a full face palette. So there's 6 eyeshadows, one blush, and one highlighter, and we include a dual-ended brush in our palettes. So there's an eyeshadow blush, an eyeshadow brush, and then there's like a blush and highlighter brush. And the reason we include the brush is because our younger consumers don't own their own brushes, but we want them to have a great experience and not like jam their finger into the product. Um, or use like a sponge, applicator, because that's not as prestige as a brush. So we do
Mhm.
include a brush. And then we also launched lip gloss, which, because I feel like that's such a perfect entry product in color cosmetics. And then we also launched with like a hair and body glitter.
Okay. And you have a lot more products now. So
We
how did you
do.
decide like what
We
to expand with?
Yeah, so I mean, we have so many products, but we obviously have launched a lot more palettes. since our first one. We've launched lip balms. We launched like sticks, like all over sticks, which are doing really well. Our wipes do amazing. Our wipes are amazing. I don't know if you've tried them, but we'll send you some. They're incredible. Our mascara is amazing. I actually didn't think we would launch a mascara, but everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, like, are you gonna launch a mascara?" And I was like, "Oh, like, yeah, like totally, like, let's launch a mascara." But we also launched a clear mascara because I feel like clear is like the place where it's more like comfortable to start, and then you kind of grow into a black mascara. So we have a clear brow gel and mascara that we launched, and then a black mascara. And then for our black mascara, we tooled a brush that's 2 millimeters smaller than like maybe like Too Faced Better Than Sex, or like one of the popular like Dior Show mascaras. So it's easier for our consumer to use on her or his eyes. So our mascaras do really well, our brow gel does really well. And then we also, about a year and a half ago, went into skincare. So we have a whole skincare category. We have face wash, moisturizer, wipes. We have a face mask, and then we're looking to expand in our skincare category as well. So
that is so fun. And I'm like low-key jealous that I'm an adult right now and I didn't have these products when I was younger, because I have an older sister and she's 4 years older than me, but my mom used to let her like experiment and like play with like lipsticks and stuff on me. So that's how I got into makeup and everything, was my sister playing with makeup on me and like, oh my God, you can wear any color. I was like, like, okay, girl, like whatever you say. But like, this is just so much fun, because naturally young girls, especially in this day and age, they're going to be gravitating towards, a lot of them gravitate towards makeup anyway. So to have something that is like formulated for them, made for them, to actually like get that practice in, oh my gosh.
And it's amazing, I think, even since we've launched 5 years ago, to see like how many more kids and tweens and teens are getting into makeup younger and younger because of social media. You know, it's amazing. And there's more and more brands launching too that are geared towards this younger demographic. So it's been interesting to watch how it's all sort of unfolding and changing.
Yeah. Would you say that it's still a huge area or a huge market for the tweens as far as beauty?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's interesting too is we work with so many of the tween creators, but we see like, you know, we see adult brands that are, you know, sending their products to these tweens because they know there's this huge market there. But they're also not going to hire like a 13-year-old to be head of their campaign, you know. So I think that's where we're different. Like we love working with young creators, and like it's, you know, we hire like 17 or 16-year-olds to do the makeup on our photo shoots sometimes, and we're all about like really embracing this like young creative community of makeup artists, because we feel like it's not as, it shouldn't be scary, they shouldn't feel intimidated. It's, you know, we're really here to like be their friend or confidant. We're not like talking down to them. And it's really about teaching, but also having fun. And that's really like what we're about.
I love that you're hiring the young girls to do the makeup for the camp. That is so exciting, because I know so many other makeup artists who are young. They start out pretty young these days. I even ran into one that was like 12 years old, and that's amazing, amazing work as an artist. So giving them that opportunity to even get their foot, you know, get started in the beauty in that way, doing campaigns already, like, wow.
Yeah, and then some of them are so talented. I mean, it's insane. Like they're incredible. So we love to give them that opportunity, and you know, for us it makes total sense. So it's been really fun. We also have camps. So that's been really fun, where we have like a lot of our tweens or teens, you know, log into Zoom, and we do these really fun camps. So we have camps where they can make their own makeup brand, and we teach them how to do that. Or we also have a lot of beauty camps where we teach them like, what is a highlighter? What's the best way to apply it? Where do you apply it? What's right for your skin tone? What's your eye shape? And like, how do you apply eyeshadow to best complement your eye shape? And we teach them like how to wash their brushes and wash their face, and just like, you know, having like clean habits, and it's really fun. And our community we call them like our Sparkle Squad. They're all friends, and it's been really, really like rewarding, like I was saying earlier, to watch how this is all like unfolded.
This is so cool, Sam. This is really cool. Because like you mentioned earlier, even a lot of older people don't even realize what to do with makeup. So I feel like these young girls in these camps probably are going home and teaching their moms a thing or
Totally,
two about what is highlighter and how to apply it,
totally.
clean
It's so
those brushes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so funny because I have a mom. She was like, "Oh, my daughter, I just signed her up for a private class. Can I watch?" And I was like, "Absolutely! Like, join in the fun. Like, you can totally watch and participate." And it's so funny because I hear all the time, like with like moms will come in the office, or I'll just like whatever, and they're like, "Oh my God, my daughter did my makeup." And I think it's like a really special like bonding moment with a child and especially like their daughters, to really connect
Yeah.
through beauty. And I think that it goes so much deeper than just the lipstick or the gloss, right? Like there's so much power in it, and it's like that memory that lasts with them. Or like with your grandma, right? Like people will be like, "Oh, my grandma always used to wear this like red nail polish," and like that's how they remember her or whatever, right? So I think that it is such a beautiful thing.
It is beautiful. And because you mentioned community, which I think is really important, like the Sparkle Squad, how important is the community to like the success of the brand? Like, do they correlate?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, what's really cool about our followers and our fans is they really aren't like jaded, and they're not like in this cancel culture world. I mean, there's so many beauty brands that launch products and people are like, ugh, like another palette, or they're just so negative. And for us, like our fans and our followers, like they can't wait. Like they're like, "Oh my gosh, like what's next?" Or, "Oh, you should launch this or that." And I can show you one sec. We have these really cool we get like postcards. So in all of our shipper boxes, we like send we get these. I know it's like kind of blurry, but you can see, but they write into the brand,
Uh-huh.
and they send like suggestions. Like you can see like little drawings, or ideas of like what they want to see from the. Can you see?
That one's pretty.
Sorry, it's like blurry, but I can like send you some snapshots. But we have like thousands of postcards, and they'll write into the brand, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like you should launch a palette that looks like this," or, "Oh, I would love to see this from you." And again, it's like really circling back to that community and how we can engage with our fans and followers. We always write back to them, and like really like to keep that relationship there.
That is so much fun because then they feel like they're a part of something.
Totally. And it's so cool to get mail, right? Like when you're like younger, like getting mail is like the best.
The best thing ever. I used to be so excited.
Yeah. And
Now, like mostly their bills, so I'm like, you can keep that. But if it was like cool mail like that, I would be
yeah,
happy.
yeah. So that's a really fun way for us to engage with our followers, because they don't all have email or social media. So it's a way for them to communicate with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm imagining too, since you have a background in product development, was it simple, hard, indifferent? Like, how was it to formulate these products for this
Yeah.
brand?
So the product development part was easy for me,
Mhm.
'cause that's my background. So that was obviously like the easiest part. I think all the other stuff was the hardest part. It's like, "Oh, I need a website. Okay. Oh, I need social media. Okay." Or, "Oh, we need to make money. Like, how do we price our products, and what are all the costs that go into it?" And these are all things that I think, working just in product development for these other brands, you don't really realize how many pieces there are into creating one product. And it's so many touch points, and it's not just about that one lipstick. Then at the end of the day, it's like the marketing that goes into it, the financial side, the manufacturing, the regulatory, the shipping, getting the package from, whether the package came from China or Italy or whatever, then to the filler, and then the filler to the warehouse, and then that needs to go into a box, and then that needs to go into another box, and then that needs to go to Ulta or right. It's just like so much. You're like, wait a second, like there's a lot that goes into it. So I think, all those different aspects were definitely have been like a learning experience for me.
Mhm.
But I definitely think I had like a head start and an advantage working in beauty for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any bestsellers right now? What are the girls loving?
Yeah, so our palettes are constantly, I mean, we're sold out of 2 out of 4 of them right now. Like they constantly are selling out, which is great, but we always want to make sure that we have enough inventory on hand, which is hard to do because we're just go through them really quickly. So our Whimsicali palette does really, really well. Our 902 and Glow palette does really well. Our wipes, like I was mentioning earlier, like those are just, I mean, we can't keep them in stock. They're incredible. Actually, like Tori Spelling loves them. We send them to her. We also have like a lot of celebrity makeup artists that use them that love them. Our brow gel and our mascara. Kate Hudson actually gave us like a shout out on our mascara on a Vogue piece randomly, um, which is really exciting. And she loves our mascara, and a lot of adults are like obsessed with our mascara because it's so good. And obviously kids. So yeah, those are like our top, I'd say, items. And also like baby hairs are a big trend right now. So
Mhm.
like a lot of girls will use our brow gel to kind of like keep their baby hairs down or like style them. So
I never thought about using brow gel for baby hair.
yeah, actually my daughter showed me that. She's like, oh, I use it to like clean up my baby hairs. I was like, you
At
do?
8 years old. Okay,
8
now.
years old. I was like, okay. So, she did like a little tutorial on how to do it. But yeah, so I mean, like people use our products for all different things. But those I'd say are like our top SKUs for sure.
Nice. I love that. And I can imagine with being in product development, you see a lot of good, bad, and different, like as far as the ingredients that are going into products. So I know it's
Uh-huh.
really important for you to have a clean formulation for this brand. Could you
Yeah,
explain a little bit about
absolutely.
that?
Yeah, so we have a clean list that's, we obviously follow like the Sephora and the Ulta clean list. We go above and beyond in terms of like nuts. Like we are a nut-free brand, which is kind of unique. A lot of skincare brands use like nut extracts or butters, um, like shea butter or almond extract or whatever in their products, for hydration and, removal or whatever. We don't. So that's always a challenge for us when we're developing skincare, especially, is that we're fully nut free.
Yeah.
Um, because kids have so many nut allergies, and schools are nut free schools, but I don't think they think about products that people are bringing in might have nuts in them. It's more like food. So we're obviously nut free, and also talc. Like talc is a big conversation recently. So we've been talc free since day one. Um, so we don't use talc in any of our powders. So different things like that, like we really try to stay away from. We also obviously manufacture, we try to stay away from China. Just because we don't have like full visibility, we don't have like a QA team over there, so we can't fully like visibly see if there's something to go wrong. Like we can't just get on a plane and go make sure that everything is
Yeah.
manufactured up to our standards. So we try to manufacture domestically, which is nice. So we have like more visibility on what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to ask you about that too, because I saw on your website like manufacturing products in the US.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people do choose to do overseas a lot of times. Is that because
Yeah,
of
'cause
the
the cost.
cost? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the labor is so much cheaper. That it just all, that goes into your product. So, you're paying, that's why like our products are priced like slightly higher than maybe other tween or teen makeup brands. Like we really, really like to have, the best.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed too that you didn't have foundation on your site as well. Is that like intentional because, they don't necessarily need foundation, or is it because of
Yeah.
ingredients that go into making foundation as well?
Yeah. We want to do a tinted moisturizer where like working on one, but we haven't launched it yet. So it's something that we're looking to get into like the face category. And a lot of our fans are like, launch a concealer, launch a concealer. The thing with concealers, we need so many shades. That's such a big investment for us to launch a concealer. So we haven't like gone down that path yet, but we get a lot of requests for concealers as well.
Yeah, that's a lot of SKUs.
It is a lot of SKUs because it's, more pigment. And so we can't be as lenient as we would with the tinted moisturizer, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay. So you did mention a little bit about like all of the moving parts with the brand. So what does production and fulfillment look like now that you're 5 years in?
Yeah. What do you mean like where do we manufacture or like the whole process?
Like the whole process of like getting the products filled in bottles and packaging and,
Yeah.
Ulta. So sending it out to Ulta, sending it out to customers, like all of that.
Yeah, so it just depends on obviously like where it's going, right? Like so we manufacture a lot of our packaging in China and then we ship it to the US to be filled, or like our mascara is made in Italy. So like, and that package comes from Italy. But we try to, obviously work with the same suppliers so we get better pricing, and also so we can have more like flexibility with them if we're like, we really need this, like can you do this as a favor and like speed us up in production? So I think that's something that's really important, is to try to not have a huge supplier list and be, if your suppliers can make it, like try to work with the same ones. And also so you can like ship product together, and there's different things we can do, or we can split shipments, or we just have more flexibility across the board. So obviously like we'll ship the packaging over, we fill it domestically. Sometimes we go on site to approve the shades, or sometimes we've made a product so many times that we trust the supplier and they'll approve it. And then depending on like the different products, like they'll either put it in the box or we'll have our warehouse put it in the box. Okay. And then from there, like we'll either ship it to, Ulta, or we're also on Amazon, or to our, D2C. So like we'll ship it direct to the consumer. We're also on some, some ships, like some cruise ships, which is really fun. Because I feel like that's such a good place for our products to live, because there's so many families. Yes. So we're on Starboard Cruises, which is really fun because we'll have like a family friend. They're like, "Oh my God, I saw your product on the cruise I'm on for like spring break." I'm like, "Oh my God, yes, buy some, send me a picture." So that's really cool. We're actually going to launch into Mexico soon, which is really cool. And so, that's like a whole different packaging we need, and labeling requirements, and everywhere you sell your products, there's different labeling requirements. So that's like a whole other piece that you don't even think about. Like even markets, like they want you to have clear tape on your box, and it's like, okay, like some people want brown tape. So it's just like there's so many requirements, and they're all individual, and you also can get like chargebacks from from the retailers if you don't follow like these protocols. So
wow, I had no idea it was that detailed. Like just take these products and sell them.
Exactly. And it's like if the packing slips on the front of the box and inside the box, like you get chargebacks. If you send one extra product, there could be chargebacks. Like it's very regimented.
Wow, I had no idea. I'm learning something new every single time.
Yeah.
Wow. So since you're like so deep in the brand now, what have you noticed about the Alpha and Gen Z consumer behavior? Because they spend.
They do spend, and they're very easily influenced from TikTok. TikTok is like the place where they spend a lot of their time, and a lot of the brands that heavily invest in the TikTok community, in the creator space, like are doing really well with this younger demographic. It's interesting. I mean, I've noticed different things. I'd say like behavior wise, the girls that live on like the coastal cities like LA, New York, Miami, maybe are more advanced in terms of like maybe the products they use or how they dress or the influencers they follow. And they also don't want to be part of like what's trending. Like they try to be more unique, I'd say. We just had some girls in the office last week and like they're like, oh, like we go thrift shopping because we're not gonna buy what's at the mall. Like that's too common folk, like so they try to be different. And then, the girl maybe in middle America is more like, oh, like I love going to the mall and shopping where everyone else is, and you know what I mean? Like it's just really different. But then I think that the trends are really dictated more by the girls that are thrift shopping and all that kind of stuff. So that's just been interesting to see for sure. Also, like the Stanley Cup, right? Like it's like so random, but it's like these things just hit and they become like so popular with this younger demographic. So that's been really interesting for sure. I also think like consumer behavior in terms of like it's so easy to get stuff now with like Amazon and Apple Pay, and everything's so instant that the expectation of getting stuff right away is like everyone expects it. And I do customer service for the brand, so I can tell like a kid will like email us and they're like, where's my product? I'm like, you ordered it yesterday, like you need, you know what I mean? I think that's a really interesting consumer behavior because they're growing up with Amazon, and Amazon has really, I think, changed people's expectations of when something's shipping. And so I think it's like this whole excitement of getting a box, unboxing it. I mean, my daughter's 8 and I could literally order like floor cleaner and she's like, can I just open the box? I'm like,
Sure.
Yeah, like it's really weird. So I don't know. It's like a very interesting, different, I'd say, way of growing up than how like I grew up.
Yeah, we used to have to wait for our stuff.
Huh?
So we used to have to wait for our stuff at least a week.
Exactly. I mean, now it's like they get it in 2 seconds, or you Postmates or Instacart, or I mean, everything is so instant that it's really interesting. It's a very different way of growing up. So
that is interesting too, just for other people who want to develop brands, because you have to keep those things in mind as far as like the climate that we're in now, where everything is so instant. So you have to have like all of your ducks in a row to make sure you can even provide that kind of service.
Yeah, and free shipping. I mean, people like don't want to pay for shipping, but it costs a lot for the brands to ship, and you're absorbing some of the shipping costs. So say, our free shipping threshold is $35 because we obviously want to be competitive with like our competitors or Ulta or whatever. So it's $35, but then it costs us like $9 to ship something ground, USPS ground. But then, if say it's not $35, someone buys something for $20, they pay $5.99 to ship it. We're still taking $4 of that cost to ship it to them, and they're like, I can't believe I had to pay for shipping. And it's like, we're still absorbing $4 of that shipping cost, for our product, which might be $20. And then we also have to pay to pick pack it. We have to pay for the shipper to put it in. We have to pay for the product itself. So it's like a lot of incurred costs that I think the consumers don't think about on the other end.
Yeah, absolutely. They just want their stuff.
Exactly. Totally.
I know one thing's for sure. You all are killing it on TikTok. I looked at your TikTok page. So when you were talking about the wipes, I saw the young girl, demo. So I'm like, I need to try those because she made it so effortless and it was just like so smooth.
Yeah.
Like, aside from TikTok, I guess TikTok is like the main thing. Like, is that the way that you all are really getting in front of the tweens and everything by using TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok. Also, YouTube Shorts is like a newer TikTok because you don't need an account. So a lot of like our younger consumers, if they don't have an account on TikTok, will go on YouTube Shorts, which a lot of it's the same content. So creators will post the same content in each place.
Yeah.
But for us, it's like, it's really a multi-pronged approach. Like we have to be on Instagram because that's where a lot of the moms are, or like the aunts, or the cool aunt or whatever. Also, like we do see a lot of younger consumers on Instagram as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then TikTok, obviously, because that's where like a ton of our creators, our fans are. And then we recently started diving into Snapchat. Snapchat's really, really big with like the tweens and the teens. So it's a lot for brands. Like it's not like launching a brand 20 years ago where you could just launch a brand and go to Nordstrom and you pitch your brand and they're like, okay, like here's a purchase order. We're going to order X amount. Like this is a whole different, I'd say, landscape. And it's really hard to be strategic because something could hit overnight and then you're out of stock, or, there could be a new app that's up and coming that you don't even know about. And then it's the next biggest thing and you're behind. Or the algorithm can change, and one day your products are being shown to everyone and the next day they're not, and it's just like a lot of different things to navigate and manage and strategically be able to be like adapt. You have to adapt quickly.
Yeah. Are you doing all of this on your own, or do you have a team that handles like marketing and social
Yeah.
and things like that?
Yeah, I have an amazing team. There's 5 of us. And we all wear a lot of hats. And when I first launched, we had a lot of consultants, and I'd work with like agencies and different things. And then I realized like, okay, it makes more sense for us to have someone full time that's dedicated to the brand versus working with an agency where you get someone that's like a lower level or like an entry level person and you're paying a lot of money, and it's just not, they're not putting your brand first and foremost. So we started bringing in like people in-house, and I think for instance, like we have someone that's full-time in-house that does our ad buying for us, and we originally were working with an agency, but every time we wanted to try anything they were like, oh, like this is going to be another $30,000, and we're like, what? Like we don't have an additional $30,000 to spend a month on testing. That's a lot. So we ended up bringing someone in-house. So now we're able to really test new ads. And then we have a full-time designer in-house who she can turn an ad around in like 5 minutes, and I think that, and we also shoot all of our content in the office. So having this flexibility and being able to really turn things around quickly, I think is what really has helped us be nimble and be successful, and also be able to adapt quickly to new trends. If someone's like, oh, like Burger King is trending like this very second, like we can literally postmate Burger King, someone can shoot it in the office, and we have it up on our Instagram or TikTok in like an hour, and I think having that flexibility is really important.
Yeah, I love that. I was going to ask you about the content thing as well. Like, how hard or easy is it to tap into the mind of a tween as far as messaging, or does your Sparkle Squad kind of help with that, and like the influencers that you have?
Yeah. So we do a lot of listening. Like we watch a lot, we follow a lot of tweens and teens. We listen, we're like there, right? Like we're behind the scenes kind of watching, like, what are they talking about? What kind of content are they engaging with? What's trending? And we really try to adapt quickly and make sure that our product feels relevant and is interesting and unique to us, but also like relevant in terms of like what's trending across the board. Like right now, like all these aesthetic videos are trending. I'm not sure if you've seen them, but a lot of it's like where people like line up their products, and they'll have an acai bowl, and then they like post, they don't show their face, but they show like a day in the life, and they'll show like yoga pants, and they're going to go to camp, and they'll show their backpack, and it's all like this sort of vibe. So we've sort of been trying to lean more into that, which is a newer content, like newer content that's trending right now. So
yeah. Oh my gosh, it's like you said, it is a lot.
it is a lot. It's not what it was. It's definitely, I'd say, if launching a brand today is much different than launching a brand like even not 5 years ago because I'm 5 years, but like I'd say like 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Like it's night and day.
Yeah, yeah. As far as the future, like how do you plan to stay kind of like ahead of the curve of what may be like creating new trends, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I feel like we're always ahead of the curve because we're working with these young consumers that sort of dictate
Okay.
what's trending, and we watch it and we see it. So I feel like our brand, even in general, is ahead of the curve because people are like, oh, like I don't know how I feel about makeup for tweens. But now it's like every tween in America is wearing makeup. And I think that, I walk in Sephora and it's like a playground. It's all kids, and I even was talking to the sales guy there, and he's like, I've sold more retinol to 9-year-olds than I've sold to an adult in my entire life. Like he's like, I'm selling retinol like nonstop. And I think it's interesting. It's like, why are 9-year-olds buying retinol? It's because it's trending on TikTok. And I think that, it's interesting. My daughter will be like, oh, I want this. And I'm like, well, I'm not buying you anti-aging products like at 9. You don't need it. It's not good for your skin. Like, no, and I think that it's just interesting to watch how it's all sort of unfolding and changing, and or like different like hacks, right? Like, what are like these kids doing with, like I was saying, like the baby hairs with using the brow gel, and there's a lot of hacks that a lot of these kids are doing, which then might inspire new products. Like what are these hacks going to then lead to in a year from now that brands are going to be doing to like answer these needs? So I think that's really interesting too.
Yeah, I just had a flashback to Sephora last week when you said it's like a playground. It really was like a playground when I went in there. It was so many teenage girls in the line. I just remember
Totally.
that.
Yeah.
They're buying their Fenty. They're in there buying
Dark Elephant, Glow Recipe.
yes, the milk, all of that stuff.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. So, question. If you were to start over again, start this brand over, is there anything that you would do different? Like any advice for if someone wants to start a brand right now, like what you would do differently if you were going to start from scratch?
Yeah. I would say like go slow. Don't invest heavily in anything at the beginning. We did a lot of like investing in a lot of big influencers in the beginning, which, turns out at the end of the day, you're not going to see a return on that. So I think it's just, people are like, oh, I'm going to get a Kardashian to post and my brand's going to blow up. And like, that's not what it maybe was. It's like working with creators that are maybe smaller, but going to consistently be like a partner of the brand and going to post over and over and over again. I think that's really important. I also think it's important not to work with only like one creator. Like you really want to make sure that you have different reaches. You're really connecting with different audiences. Like for us, it's like the mom, the kid, the tween, and I think for any brand, it's that same thing. You don't want to like heavily invest in like one group or one person. I also think like starting small, like it's okay to launch one product at the beginning. You don't need to launch 20 SKUs out the gate. And I think that, you really want to launch something that you feel like hits a need and is a niche and people want and you really believe in. And I think that that's really, I think, different maybe than it was before. I feel like people aren't brand loyal anymore, but they're product loyal. And it's like when you go into a grocery store, you're not going to buy everything from, I don't know, Land's Lake, whatever, right? Like you might like their butter and then you might like a different brand of, or Horizon, right? Like you might like their milk, but you're not going to maybe like their cream, and you maybe don't like their ice cream, but so I think it's like Sephora or Ulta, you go in and you're like, oh, I love my Too Faced mascara. I love my blush from Makeup by Mario. I love my lip gloss from Fenty. And I think that that's okay if you want to be a winner in one category.
This thing has me in a chokehold right now.
Yeah, and it's like if you want to be a winner in one product, I think that's okay. It's not about winning in everything. Where back in the day, that's really like how brands felt like they were successful. I think it's just different now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. That's
Yeah,
really, really helpful.
yeah, of
Is there
course.
anything else or anything coming up next for the brand that you can share? I know you have some products, but you don't have to share, but anything that you can share with us?
Yeah, and we're doing camps, so we have a lot of fun Zoom summer camps that we're doing. We're doing one next week that's to build your own makeup brand that really deep dives into product development and all like logo creation, how to make your own product, design your own palette, all of that, which is really fun. And then we also are doing, like I was saying, the Beauty Boss Boot Camp where we teach people, like tweens and teens, like the basics of makeup, and they can ask questions and really have fun doing different looks and exploring together. So that's a lot of fun. And then we are launching like some different kits, and then we obviously like Q4 for us is huge. So we kind of spend like summer gearing up for holiday, and holiday for us is huge. So that's a lot of fun.
Got you. Do you have any age limit or age restrictions for the camp?
We try not too young. I'd say like 7 and older is really like, yeah.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I mean, some of the brands that these kids create are insane. Like they're so amazing. So that I was saying it's like very rewarding to see. I think like what we can teach and how we use the brand to really inspire.
Yeah.
So
Now imagine that keeps you on your toes too. Like that. I
yeah,
didn't know
I know. Yeah,
that.
but
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So Sam,
Your
what do you
niece
want
will
your
have to join
you said
camp, or your niece will have to join camp one day, or she could do. We also do these like fun. We'll do like a Saturday night baking night where we'll have, we'll bake together, and it's just really community building. So we definitely will keep you posted of anything coming up.
look, if they watch, it's two of them. So if they watch this
Oh
interview,
yeah,
they baking and makeup, they're into cooking and everything. And
totally.
I've definitely let them raid like my makeup that I don't use before.
Yeah.
So because they used to come over and just, oh, can we play in makeup? And I have a stash of stuff that I don't use. So I would just like let them have that. Like,
Well, we'll send them stuff for sure.
yes, they would absolutely. I'm gonna tell my sister about the camp. I think they would like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's really fun.
Yes, yes. So have you given any thought to like what you want your legacy to be with doing this kind of work, working with these children?
Um, I'd say like I think really being, I mean, I don't know if this is like cheesy, but I think like being a trailblazer brand, right? Like we are one of the first in this space. And I think it's definitely hard being like a first in a category because the category doesn't necessarily exist.
Mhm.
But now, like I was saying, there's so many more brands coming into this tween and teen space because they realize that there's this huge market. So I think being known as like one of the first brands that really addresses this market, and having these consumer insights and having products that are age appropriate. And I think when someone's 35 and they're like, oh my gosh, like I loved Petite and Pretty when I was 8 to 13, 14, like that was like my favorite brand ever. It's all I used. I think that's like awesome, and that's like why we created the brand and why I created the brand. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I love that. This has been such
yeah,
a great conversation. I really enjoyed talking to you. I learned so much from
you.
this industry, and I really love what you're doing with this brand.
Thank you.
I really love it. Before you go, I have to ask you the Friends and Beauty rapid fire questions. I think you'll be absolutely amazing at this.
Okay.
Trust me. So the first one, what are the top 3 keys to your success so far?
I'd say being nimble, being positive, and like I was saying, like listening.
Mhm, mhm. How do you measure your success?
I'd say like not like waking up every morning and loving what I do.
Okay. What is the best advice you ever received or a piece of advice that has always stuck with you?
I think being honest is always, something that's really important. I mean, we've had issues arise and, that have happened just as long as I've had the brand. And I think being really honest with the retailers or a customer or whatever is always so important, because you don't want to, end up getting caught up in some sort of fabricated lie that you can't get out of. So I think just being honest has been always the most important.
Absolutely. What advice would you give to another brand owner right now who is just a little bit stuck, not seeing the success or the movement that they want as far as production and sales go, and they're just like ready to give up?
Yeah, I'd say try something different. I think it's okay to maybe pivot. And if something's not working or you want to try something new, don't invest a lot of money in it, but definitely try a different route. And I think oftentimes it's like a really big insight and you're like, wow, like why was I not doing this before?
Yeah.
So.
What's a resource that has helped you in your business or helps you in your business that you can share with the Friends in Beauty community?
A resource.
Do you have like
Google?
Google, yes, Google, yes, Google it. Okay.
My best friend. Yeah, I mean, I also think leaning into your relationships, like maybe I can't think of one exact thing, but working in beauty for so long, it's like you have this network, and I think it's okay to reach out and ask friends for referrals or a name of a consultant, or I even have friends that aren't in beauty and I'm like, hey, like, do you know someone that does X, Y, and Z? And I think that that's really been important and helpful for me to navigate certain situations.
Yeah. This is not a part of the rapid fire, but it just popped in my head. How do you feel about like the AI stuff, like the AI?
Oh,
and
so funny. It's so funny. My best friend, she's one of them. She's in PR, and she's like, "Oh, we get so many ideas from AI." And I was like, "Really?" So I'm like, "Oh, is my PR agency like using AI?" But I think a lot of people now, it's like a great way to kick off ideas or innovation, or I wouldn't say it's like fine-tuned, but I think I'm open to it, except unless my like kids are using it to write like essays and plagiarizing. But other than that, I think it's a good way to just kick off concepts and ideas. And I don't know. I think honestly, we can't fight it. We have to embrace it and just sort of figure out how to live with it. So
yeah, so they have AI now where you can create models, makeup, like people are creating like people with makeup and hair, and it's interesting. I'm very intrigued by it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the last one, I just want you to fill in the blank and just say, my name is blank, and the key to longevity and success is whatever you think it is.
My name is Sam, and I think the key to longevity in business is believing in yourself and believing in your brand.
I like that. Believing in yourself and believing in your brand, because I feel like so many people expect people to believe in their brand more than they believe in their brand.
Exactly. You got to believe in your own brand, because people aren't going to believe in your brand. And if you don't believe in your brand and you doubt your brand, then that's just a downward spiral.
Absolutely. This has been so great because like you said, I'm a makeup artist, so I get a lot of questions all the time about products, what I should try, what should my kid try, and I'm so happy that I met you so I can now refer people over to Petite and Pretty for their young girls. This has been excellent.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for the future of the brand. I'm really excited.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on today.
Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with another friend in beauty. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe, rate, and leave a 5-star review so that other friends in beauty can find the show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, #Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.